Saab 900019991-98. The Saab 9000 is an automobile produced by the Swedish company Saab from 1984 to 1998. Representing the company's foray into the executive car scene, it was developed as a result of the successes of the turbocharged 99 and 900 models. The 9000 remained in production until May 1998 and it was replaced by the Saab 95 in late 1997, although some final cars were produced into 1998. The Saab 9000 was only available with petrol engines and never as a convertible, except for one prototype. Saab designed the 9000 as part of the Type 4 platform in conjunction with the Italian automaker Fiat Automobiles. Fiat retailed similar derivative versions as the more basic Fiat Croma, the luxury-themed Lancia Thema, and the sports-oriented Alfa Romeo 164. Unlike the 164, which shares only the chassis, the Croma and Thema are outwardly similar to the 9000. As such, much of the bodywork appeared interchangeable between the 9000, Croma and Thema, for example, the doors. However, because Saab fitted heavier side impact protection, they will not fit. Also, the front of the Saab is radically different from the Italian siblings due to the much improved crash protection. Only 7 parts are actually interchangeable. The 9000's body was designed by Giorgito Giugiaro and Saab designer BJR Inval. Despite being shorter overall than the 900, which was still produced in parallel, the 9000 has a longer wheelbase and greater interior space with 123 cubic foot of interior space, 23.5 cubic foot in the trunk, 56.5 cubic foot with rear seats folded, qualifying as an EPA-rated large car, a distinction shared only with the contemporary Rolls-Royce in America. Unlike the 900, the 9000 kept the ignition switch in the more conventional steering column position rather than between the front seats. The inspiration for the seats was taken by BJR Inval from the Muppet Show's Pigs in Space, a sketch by the late puppeteer Jim Henson. The 9000 was launched to the motoring press at a conference at Calmerton Game Park on May 24, 1984 and 1985 in the European market. This original model was a 5-door liftback, sharing much of its appearance and bodywork with the Type 4 platform relatives, the Fiat Croma and Lancia Thema. Drag resistance for the original model is CD 0.34, very competitive for the time. The Saab 9000 was awarded Best Prestige Car 1985 by the French magazine L'Action Automobile. At the end of 1985, with Cars of My 1986, the 9000 was rolled out in the most important foreign market for Saab, the US. Saab also introduced during the model year at all markets the 125 PS, 128 PS without CAT, fuel-injected non-turbo engine for the Saab 9000, based on the same engine as the turbo version and with 4 valves per cylinder, electronic ignition and a knock sensor. In the autumn of 1986, Saab organized a record attempt with the Saab 9000, which received much attention in the US and internationally, at the Alabama International Motor Speedway at Talladega, now the Talladega Superspeedway. Saab Turbo in the long run took place over 20 days and 20 nights. The main purpose of the long run project is to test the endurance of our cars as part of our ongoing testing program, explained Legrandland, head of Saab's engine and transmission department and the person in charge of this project. All 3 9000 Turbo 16s passed the 100,000 mark in 21 days, the lead car breaking 21 international and 2 world speed records in the process. In memory of this event, Saab was to sell special models under the name Talladega in the prospectus years, not only for the Saab 9000 but also for other model series. Furthermore, the event was repeated 10 years later in 1996 with models of the ING 900 inches. For my 1987 a modern ZF automatic with 4 stages became available, and remained the only available automatic version until the end of production. In 1987 for model year 1988, Saab released a 4-door sedan variant of the 9000 known as the CD. The front of the sedan was different, more modern, and more streamlined than the hatchback version. This involved smoothing the edges of the headlamps and grille, and sloping the front outwards. Saab adapted the design of the sedan to the current facelift of the Saab 900, which had already received a similar new front for the May 1987. This redesign marked a departure from the more upright front styling of the 1984 original, which was also similar to the old design of the Saab 900 from 1978-1986. The fact that the older medium-class model Saab 900 had received the facelift first seems curiously, also that the 9000 hatchback 5-door model still retained the old front design. But it can be explained by the fact that in the 1980s the bulk of sales in the US were still through the classic 900. From 1988, all 9000 variants were equipped with a Saab information display, SID, which showed fuel consumption, distance to an empty fuel tank, alternator output voltage, outside temperature, and lowest battery voltage during vehicle start. If the outside temperature fell to -3 to 3 degrees Celsius, 27 to 37 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature display is automatically selected to warn of possible black ice road conditions. A separate pictogram monitor door and hatch opening and exterior light bulb condition. 1988 also marked the introduction of pyrotechnic seat belt tensioners for the front seats. Saab direct ignition was also introduced 1988 with the 9000 CD and its V202 turbo engine. The same engine in the CC got the DI with my 1989. Since then all new engine releases for the 9000 got the DI from beginning, except later V6 which came from GM. For my 1990 Saab introduced the new developed larger B234 2.3-liter engine, providing 145 horsepower, 108 kilowatts, in the normally aspirated engine. For my 1991, the B234 became available also with a turbocharger, producing 195 horsepower, 145 kilowatts, and an impressive torque. For my 1991, Europe, and my 92, US, Saab also adopted the sloping front of the CD for the hatchbacks. With this, the classic flat front of the Saab 90, 99, 900 and the early 9000 was finally over. But this design only existed for a very short time. Because the next bigger facelift for the Saab 9000 5-door variant was followed by release of a partially redesigned body for the 1992 model year in Europe, for my 1993 in the US, known as the CS. At the release of the CS, the original liftback variant from my 1985 to 1991/1992 was retrospectively designated CC to differentiate it from the newer version. The old CC was continued to sell out of stock alongside in some markets as an entry-level model and in particular in the US, where the new CS was not available until my 1993.